Do you think the Ethiopian church has the Ark of the Covenant?
Absolutely. There's in the Discord. I could even point out where it is. I know where it is.
Shut up, really?
I got one last question.
Yes, what?
Let's say some of these churches have had priesthood authority passed down. Whose priesthood is stronger? Ours or theirs?
Oh, is this like a Moses with his rod? And
No, seriously, it's like we have the priesthood from the Restoration, but if they got the priesthood from the original gang, they might beat us a little bit. They might be able to levitate like the box a little bit higher or something.
The Roman Catholic claim to be the universal Christian church is kind of by default. It's kind of like we were the ones who survived. And so we get to say we're the only true one. It's like, hell, whoa. There were 12. The gospel was planted all over the world. And it was usually destroyed by the Huns. Look, most of the apostasy wasn't ink. It was blood. But there are some of these churches that still survive to this day.
You have 5 Armenian guys in a room. It's like a macho contest, seeing who can out-stoic the other. Like, can one of you take a chill pill?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Ward Radio. I am your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by Kwaku L. and Jonah Barnes. And today we've got a very interesting topic. The professor of all things apocryphal, Jonah Barnes, has a presentation for us. Dare we say a spiritual TED Talk, an apocryphal TED Talk on the lost churches of the Apocrypha. And you actually say it has to do with the deaths of the apostles. What are we learning here? Lost doctrine that has been discovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls? Are we uncovering Gnostic Holy Writs? What's going on today?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to back up and we're going to look at, sometimes when we talk about the church or Christianity, or we talk about the great apostasy, we talk about it in this tunnel vision of just like Rome. It's like, everything happened in Rome, or everything happened in like Jerusalem. But actually, a lot was happening in a lot of other places.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I think about the Roman Empire every day. My wife doesn't believe me, but I do.
Okay,
I do.
Kwaku,
right. Every day?
I think about the Egyptian Empire a lot more.
Oh, shoot. You had to one-up me. You just had to like one-up me
They're
like that.
cooler. They had
Why'd
some
you have to do
magic and like free energy and stuff, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I have to agree with Kwaku on that one.
Jeez, guys.
If the Egyptians went to war with the Romans, I think the Romans might win militarily until the Egyptians discovered all of those lost technologies that, kind of went away.
Sonic resonance.
Oh, no, I know it's off topic, but I got a question for Cardin.
Yeah, hit it.
Why do like all the like neo right-wing vaporwave conservative meme guys love the Romans, but they like hate gays?
Wait,
because the Romans were super gay. They love gayness.
Were they really?
No, yeah, you know how
Is
like
that
Roman
why Jonah
soldiers
thinks
always
about the Roman Empire every day?
Well, Roman and Greek soldiers, they always had like a little male, pederast like lover. Like they were extreme. Like gayness was very normal part of their culture.
Maybe that's just all of our latent internalized homophobia.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm always like, what are these like right-wing return to tradition, go watch Europa The Last Stand, all those people. How come you hate gays but you love gays? It's kind of weird.
I'm sure there's a thesis by some psychology master.
Don't watch Europa The Last Stand. In fact, you need to block that out. I watched 5 hours of the 12-hour movie.
12-hour movie?
It is a 12-hour documentary with one goal in particular. It's not a good goal. It's a brainwashing session to turn you into an extremist. I watched 5 hours of it, and I was like, I can't do any more of this. But
so speaking of 5 hours, we're almost in our 5th hour of this podcast, about to breach the actual topic. Sorry.
No, that ties right in, because we don't need a Eurocentric view of Christianity and history. So what we're going to do is we're going to branch out a little bit for people.
You diversity cuck. You're That's what they're going to say. That's what the Desnets are going to say in the comments.
So the deal is that after Jesus Christ, this is all from the Book of Acts, okay, people? So just calm down. In the Book of Acts, when Jesus Christ comes back 40 days, nobody knows what he's doing. We totally know what he was doing. He was doing temple ordinances, but he sends all the apostles out into the world.
Oh, the harrowing of hell. You missed that one, bro.
Oh, we got a whole new one.
He was doing temple ordinances.
Absolutely. He was doing temple ordinances. It's all over the Apocrypha. It's all over the Gospel of Philip.
By the 8th or 9th century, the creeds had gotten rid of the harrowing of hell, but it was a very, very well-known early Christian doctrine. And what's early if it made it through the 9th century CE, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, they believe that he did indeed descend into hell in order to harrow or to cultivate the souls of all the good people who had died in Old Testament times, primarily Noah, Adam and Eve.
Yeah, the patriarchs.
Yeah, the patriarchs and stuff like that.
Then he comes back, and for 40 days, he takes all the apostles through temple ordinances, the initiatory, the endowment, all that stuff. It's all over. Pistis Sophia, people, go read the Pistis Sophia.
Okay.
Right,
so, yeah.
I have questions, but it's a different podcast. I don't want to distract.
Yes,
okay.
But
Keep going.
We'll talk. Okay, so Jesus Christ comes back.
That was super gay, too.
And
Okay,
He really likes ancient Rome.
That's funny. Okay, so keep going, dude.
So, anyway, so Jesus sends his apostles off into the world. And he says, you go here, you go here. Luke talks about it shortly. He's like, this guy went here, this guy went there. But there really isn't a great record of where the apostles go. I find it amazing that people think the Bible is inerrant and perfect and all this stuff when the story just ends.
Yeah.
It's like, and Jesus left, and there's this huge church built up, and then it's just like, the whole thing just ends. And you're like, wait, what? Oh, what happened?
Here's a guy in an island who saw a lot of things.
And it's over. It'd be the worst. It would be the worst Netflix documentary. If the New Testament were made in a Netflix documentary, it'd be the worst because it just ends. And there's no good ending to it. Anyways, so the point is he sends them off. So we know where, let's go over the ones that we know.
Okay.
We know Peter. Peter crucified in Rome. We know Jacob the Just, not James. Stop calling him James. His name is Jacob. Who's the brother of Jesus, who is the bishop of Jerusalem. We know John, Isle of Patmos, later, because he didn't die, goes on to become Sasquatch. Everybody knows.
Okay.
Then Jacob the Less, killed in Jerusalem. Okay. So then we're getting into, so those are like the four that we kind of like know. Okay. Yeah. And then of course, Judas replaced by Matthias. Now we're getting into the ones we don't know. Okay. So that aren't in the Bible. Simon, son of Alphaeus, is sent off to Persia, is sawed in half. Things don't go super well. Let's see. Philip, we think he might have gone to North Africa. Also, things don't go very well. Matthias, he goes to Colchis. Also, things don't go very well. They're killed. But some of them succeeded, and they planted churches in these places. And we have the records of the churches that they planted. Nobody believes them. The Armenians, when they say, our church was established by Bartholomew. And everyone's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, Armenian Orthodox, right?
Yeah. And they say, Bartholomew came and established our church. And the Roman Catholics are like, no, we didn't.
Yeah, why don't we believe these people? Is it just old political beef from like the 2nd or 3rd century?
I think it's because they all watch Europa. And Europa's just all about, Eurocentric view of the world. And the Armenians are like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, that didn't work out very well for us.
Well, I mean, but like, why would the Roman Catholic Church lie? They've never done anything like that.
It's a good point. Well, it's not really like
you can't help yourself. Not for one. Get off my boys. Get off my boys. The Crusades were just.
All right.
Yeah, you would like Europa: The Last Stand. You would like that movie. Jeez.
Still haven't seen it.
By the way, we need to clarify. It is an abominable film. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like into that. Like, I want to make it clear.
Wait, but abominable, why? Because
of
like just bad ideas, or because it's just actually really horrible production value and super cringe?
The cinematography is just
great. It wasn't made well, and
You've seen it, John?
Let's just say the opening is this. Who runs the banks? You ever heard of the Khazarians? You're like, okay, one of those.
Yeah.
They start listing, here's people you couldn't trust. There's a lot of Bergs and Cohens in the last names. It's one of those movies.
And those people don't like the Armenians having their own continuous Christian church. See? It all ties back together, guys.
So anyway, keep going. Jonah.
Okay, so the first nation to be Christian. Anybody know what the first Christian nation in the history of the world is?
Armenia claims to be the first Christian nation.
Armenia is the first Christian nation. Very good.
Okay.
Very good, Cardinalis.
Hey, dude, I live like within a stone's throw of Glendale and Burbank, bro. Like,
okay. Armenia is super awesome. They were all over Siberia in my mission, by the way. Super awesome people. I love Armenians.
A little intense. They could smile more, but keep going. I'm just saying. Good grief. You have 5 Armenian guys in a room. It's like a macho contest, seeing who can out-stoic the other. Like, can one of you take a chill pill?
That's funny, because in Siberia, they were the bubbliest, happiest people around. I think that says something about
I
Siberia.
know like 5 Armenians, and now I'm just completely stereotyped based on the 5 guys I know.
Okay, so in the Discord, so one of the apocryphal books is the Acts of Thomas, and it is the first little snippet that I put in the Discord.
Okay. Check it out.
The Acts of Thomas is one of those books.
Is this one right here?
Well, that's kind of about it. It's up a little further. Go up a little.
Okay. Is it this one right here?
It shows text.
Shows text. Right here? Right here.
No, that's a declaration of Arbroath.
No, well, I got it.
Maybe you didn't get it in. Okay, whatever. But the Acts of Thomas, go to the one that the first
here
one
we
you
go.
had.
Here's the Acts of
There you
Thomas.
go.
I'm a fool. Here we go.
So this is a part of the Jonah Barnes compendium of apocryphal writings. So
Cool.
so this is about Thomas is told by Jesus to go to India. And he says,
I know this story.
And he says, I don't want to go. I'm not going. And so God makes it so that he's like framed for a crime. He becomes a slave, and he's bought by a guy from India. And so Thomas has to be shipped off to India as a slave, and he goes to India, and that's how he starts his ministry. And so the book is all about his ministry over there. Really interesting book. So while Thomas is out there, he establishes a church in India. And this church in India still exists. And they say that they're a contiguous Christian church as old as the Roman Catholic Church, as old as any Christian church that was started by Thomas. And they still continue to this day.
So is it an official branch of the Catholic Church, or is it its own separate church?
No, it's its own thing. I think what's their technical name is this Indo-Syrian Christian Church or something like that. You can
Okay,
Google it.
cool. Rock on.
But they're around. And of course, everybody tells them, no, your church was started in 600 AD by blah, blah, missionaries. And they're like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. We've been here since Thomas. And nobody believes them. But
Okay.
I believe you.
What do they believe? Is it standard Christian doctrine?
No, so it's orthodoxy. So all of these guys, and we're going to go through several of them. I don't know all their beliefs.
Right.
But all these churches have, first of all, they don't have the creeds. Sorry,
Whoa,
creeds. Sorry,
cool.
creeds.
So they're going to hell.
So, yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's the good news of the gospel. All of you are going to hell
look.
except for us 20 people who know the creeds.
I'm sorry. I know you believe that like Jesus guy, but my medieval monks, I trust them.
My medieval
implicitly,
monks
okay?
trump your Jesus.
That Emmanuel guy who was yapping a lot that you're obsessed with in your Mormon church, I'm into the medieval monks, all right? And if they ain't medieval monks, they ain't for me.
Yeah.
The Jesus guy he's just so yesterday.
Yeah.
He's just so yesterday. It's all about the monks.
So anyway, tell us more about these lost churches.
Okay,
bro. What's
so
going on?
then also in the so that's Thomas. He goes to India. Now there's another inscription there. It's kind of the inverted. It shows like white on black, the one that you first showed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Now that inscription there shows Hebrew writing found in India, and this I think this tablet comes from like 1000 AD or something. Like it shows that there was a Hebrew community in India at the time of the Roman Empire. And
Is that pure Hebrew? Is that like kind of like
no? It's a perverted Hebrew.
like a reformed Hebrew?
It's a reformed Hebrew, which doesn't exist. Obviously, doesn't exist. Yeah, written on metal plates doesn't exist. That's absurd, right?
Loving it.
So anyway, so this proves that there was a Jewish Hebrew presence in India back far enough that would have been the place that maybe Thomas had gone to, and so they cite this as the church there cites this as evidence that says we've been here contiguously.
Cool.
So.
Yes. Kwaku.
Do you think the Lord wanted him to go to India to establish the church because the Lord had already been there in his missing years?
That is another theory, and there's apocryphal
Jesus went
books
to
all
India
about
theory.
that.
I'm 90% there that's real. I'm pretty sure the Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
Okay, well, we could talk about the hand signals that the Hindus and the Buddhists do.
Yeah, that's a whole nother one for
we
another
might have to
day.
do that in the temple. Anyways, okay, so another from the Discord.
Okay.
So we bring up the Declaration of Arbroath
Rock on.
from 1320 AD. This is from the National Archives of Scotland. There it is. Now this is declaring St. Peter the patron saint of Scotland. Does anybody know what the Scottish flag is?
No, I don't know. What is it?
The Scottish flag is an X. So the English flag is a cross. The British flag is a cross and an X because it's supposed to be England and Scotland. So they put the cross and the X. The X is the X cross that St. Andrew was crucified on. St. Andrew's cross is what it's called. It also is the foundation
St. Andrew or
for
St. Peter?
Andrew. It also is the foundation for the Confederate flag, because so many of Southerners came from Scotland and immigrated there. So they had St. Andrew's cross as their cross for the Confederate flag. He's the patron saint of Scotland because, as the apocryphal texts say, he made it to Scotland. He first preached to the Scythians in Russia, I think it was, and then he goes off to Scotland. He establishes the church there. While he's there, there's a war, and the king says, help me, and he prays, and the king prevails, and so he says, you're going to be the patron saint of Scotland. We're going to convert to Christianity. Okay, also in the Discord, go to... there's a picture of the Armenian church, the Church of St. Bartholomew in Armenia. It's the black and white photo right there.
Awesome.
That's Armenia. So that's a contiguous Christian church. There's the Hebrew script in India. Okay, so going down our list here. Let's see. There's Ethiopia.
Rock on.
The Ethiopian church. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Orthodox Church, yeah.
Contiguous Christian church has been around since forever.
They say they have the Ark of the Covenant, right?
They say they have the Ark of the Covenant. That's right. And a ton of apocryphal writings, by the way, were preserved by the Ethiopians.
Yes.
Ethiopians, they kept track of those records real well.
Didn't they have 29 books in their canon while the rest of the Christian world generally had 27? Because they included the Shepherd of Hermas for a while, I believe, or else one of the books of Enoch or something like that. If I'm not
the
mistaken,
Ethiopian Book of Enoch is huge. Yeah.
Okay.
So many of the apocryphal writings come from libraries and things in Ethiopia, and it's because the Muslim invasions of the turn of the millennium didn't totally destroy Ethiopia. So that's what all this leads to, guys. Thomas created it in India. Jude went to Iraq or Iran. These guys they planted all these churches, and then Islam destroyed them all. Just wiped them out. And the survivors are very few. The survivors are the Roman Catholics. The Byzantium actually eventually was taken over, but Eastern Orthodox survived. India, these guys survived. Ethiopia survived. There's even in Morocco, the Moroccan church claims to have contiguous Christian presence there. So these churches got planted all over the world, but the Muslims destroyed half of them in 600, 700, 800, 900 AD. And so their records didn't exist. So the Roman Catholic claim to be the universal Christian church is kind of by default. It's kind of like we were the ones who survived. And so we get to say we're the only true one. It's like, hell, whoa. There were 12 true ones, guys. But they're the ones who say, no, we are the prime mover. We're the original or whatever.
The OG.
And fun fact, did you know that the foundation, the capital of the Catholic Church wasn't going to be in Rome? Do you know where it was going to be? Anybody else? Anybody in the comments?
Jerusalem?
It's going to be in York. It's going to be in England.
Really?
Yeah. That's where that's where Christianity survived best. And that's a longer story. Okay, but the last one we're going to talk about is the coolest one, guys. It's the coolest one. Especially if you've read the Book of Mormon. It's about Matthew. There's an apocryphal book called the Acts of Matthew. And it talks about where Matthew went. And Matthew goes to Parthia, or like Russia. It's not really Russia. It's not Slavs. But he goes to Parthia. It's a Khanate back then, right?
Okay.
Or what later became a Khanate. So he goes to Parthia. And in the book of the Acts of Matthew, it begins and it says, Matthew was coming back on the road and saw everybody else. And they said, where have you been? And he says, oh, I was at this place and it was really cool. While I was there in this great city, Jesus Christ appeared in the heavens and descended down like my guy, like the guy we all know. He appeared there and opened up the gospel to all these people, and I helped him establish his church there. Because I saw Jesus Christ. This is after Jesus Christ has died, spent 40 days with them, and then ascended to heaven. Okay, and this is months, years later. Matthew's in some city way up in Asia.
Wait, so you're saying the apocryphal book of Matthew, there's literally a mirror image story of Jesus Christ descending and reestablishing his church in another land outside of the Holy Land, outside of Jerusalem, outside of ancient Israel, just like it was done in 3rd Nephi. But this time, where was it?
Just like it was done in 3rd Nephi, there was an apocryphal Acts of Matthew book that shows Jesus Christ descending to establish his church in a distant land, just like in the Book of Mormon. And St. Matthew was witness to it.
Whoa, that
So
is
cool.
Which one's that called again? The Acts of Matthew.
It's called the Acta Matei in Chanate, or the Acts of Matthew in the City of the Priests, I guess is the proper
And
translation.
what country did that come out of?
There's several different, that guy's in Greek, in Syrian, and I think Ethiopian. Different versions of the story. It comes out of the medieval period. The oldest documents we have come out of the medieval period, and so of course everybody dismisses it and says, well, it's not true. But when we read it, we're like, oh shoot, that's totally like what? He says, oh, there's a big city, everybody's gathered, pillar of light, Jesus comes down, establishes the church there.
Dude, that's awesome.
Come on, that's super cool.
That's way cool.
Anyways, so the Apocrypha.
Isn't there also though a Russian, like a ancient Slavic story about Peter, James, and John appearing to the ancient Slavs, as well as resurrected beings?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole painting about it too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there's a painting of Jesus Christ appearing to the Siberians, which I have I served my mission in Siberia.
Oh,
and
it might be that. That might be what I'm referencing.
There's a painter who he showed Jesus Christ appearing to the Siberians. It's a beautiful painting, and I have it hanging in my home because that's who I preach to, and that's actually where Parthia is. Funny thing, that's actually kind of where my mission was kind of in Parthia, where Matthew says Jesus Christ came down and established his church. So Christ was doing this, which makes you wonder, because it was about 8 months, right, between his ascension into heaven to appearing to the Nephites, right? We think about 8 months.
Right.
Was he 8 months just like touring around, like pulling a Russell M. Nelson and just like cruising around to all these places? Or did he go to Australia? Did he go to Ethiopia? Did he go to Japan? Did he go to China or Tibet? Was he visiting these people and establishing churches? Because Matthew found one in Parthia, and it's in the Apocryphal books. There you go. Your puny little minds are blown.
So I'm wondering though, like, I sometimes I have this theory that, like, Christ came to all these different parts of the world, and then the destruction of the temple happens in 70 AD, and then we know what happens to the Americas in the Book of Mormon. I kind of feel like this sounds silly. But the real start of the apostasy might have been like the apocalypse that already happened, right? The world apocalypse that already happened, where all these nations had this horrific end right before the medieval period begins. So this kind of goes along with that, right? Like the apostles set up the churches. You have Christ with the Siberians, the Ethiopians, the Nephites, but then in 70 AD, that happens, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that seemed like the apocalypse that Christ is predicting in the New Testament, but that seemed to be replicated around that time all over the world.
You're
so
right.
I'm wondering, like, has the apocalypse already happened, and is there going to be another one?
Huh. Interesting. So what he was talking about in Matthew 29, right, or prophesying about
Matthew 24.
horrible things that are going to happen. Yeah, Matthew 24. Is he saying, because the guys in, that's interesting, right?
Well, that's Sean McCraney's whole thought process, isn't it?
His thought process that, the second coming happened in 70 AD, and religion is dead. We live in a post-second coming world, and now we just have to believe in Christ. We go to heaven, all of it.
You're telling me Sean McCraney has thoughts?
Dude,
I highly question that.
No,
savage.
Sit down with him for an hour. He will blow your mind.
No.
I promise you.
Not enough deodorant in the world.
He's repented for his anti-Mormonism, and I think it is oftentimes difficult after having had such a combative relationship with somebody concerning your faith for such a long time to have a friendly conversation with them. But something that helps me get over that is the fact that the Apostle Paul, after having killed Stephen, ended up being in charge of the church.
I'm going to say Paul's overrated.
Sean McCraney's like Paul. That's funny. Did Sean McCraney take down all his anti-Mormon videos?
No.
Oh, no, he didn't, did he?
No, but we have an amicable relationship.
Has
I will say though,
Sean,
hey, wait, okay, out of the I will say this about Sean McCraney, okay? Wicked smart. Sit down with an hour and just talk. Also, he doesn't think we're damned. He does think we're Christians.
Yeah, I was
that.
going to say he's abandoned.
gracious.
He's abandoned a lot of the anti-Mormon views and realized that the destruction of faith was ultimately a net negative, and it's better to have faith than not. In fact, he didn't reprimand, I'd say, RFM, but he laid down a landmine that RFM just absolutely blew up in by saying, "What moral responsibility do you have to people whose faith you destroy?"
I think
Not a fan of Sean McCraney.
I only met him after his program had been canceled, and so I didn't experience the ravages of that epoch of anti-Mormonism. Therefore, I see it both ways. I can understand why people would have a.
I like him. You were talking about people that are a little weird. Aaron Shafawoloff, that guy. Jeff Durbin.
Aaron Schaff. Oh, you know
Aaron Schaff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I debated Aaron Schaff. There's a whole 2-hour video on YouTube of me debating Aaron Schaff in front of a whole audience.
Oh, he's such a class act. He goes to picnics and harasses our youth who are trying to learn about the Book of Mormon.
Shut up, really?
Classy guy. Okay.
Interesting
Yeah.
guy. Interesting.
Anyways, so
he's a Durbinite too. So.
Yeah, he's a.
Oh, they're all so classy. Their burgers are delicious, though.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anyway, so I know we wanted to keep this a little shorter here. I think we're coming up on.
Yeah.
But the point is that the gospel was planted all over the world at different times and different places, and it was usually destroyed by the Huns, or the Hans, or the Islamic hordes, or the Umayyad Empire, or the Lamanites. It was overrun by hostile nations, and that was most of the apostasy. Look, most of the apostasy wasn't ink; it was blood. That's most of the apostasy.
I agree.
Was blood. Okay, but there are some of these churches that still survive to this day, and the advantage that Rome had is that it was in the West. It didn't have any great doctrinal. It wasn't just like better. No. The Ethiopian church has tons of texts, has preserved tons of text, and is more open about them than the Vatican is. And the Indian church and Arius' church in Lyssaudia, or whatever it's called, all these primitive Christian churches are contiguous Christian churches.
So you're saying that there's a bunch of churches besides the Catholic Church that date their provenance back to the original apostles that still exist.
Correct.
And they exist in the same form that they were started in, just like the Roman Catholic Church claims to go all the way back to Peter.
Correct.
Wow. Well, so how come they're not bigger players on the world stage? Like, why aren't their popes making big press releases and we're all paying attention to what they got to say?
And I think the answer is England.
Really?
Rome went to England, and none of them did. And England took over the world. England settled, colonized everything. France colonized everything. The Dutch colonized everything. And so that Western version of Christianity took over the world. Bulgaria didn't conquer anybody. I mean, at least not after that.
Yeah, okay.
These places, Ethiopia didn't colonize Europe. Instead, Europe colonized Africa. And
interesting.
So that's why
Okay.
Rome gets the front seat.
Okay, so which one's your favorite and why?
I like the Aryans a lot.
Really? That's going to get clipped. Let's try that one.
Oh, sorry.
again.
Not the
No, I
Aryans.
just got...
Oh, no, not that kind of Aryans.
You watch Europa, the last battle.
Not that type of Aryans. I mean, actual
No, the
Aryans.
Aryans are named after Arius,
Arius.
Aryas, which is who St. Nicholas punched, right?
Arius.
Or Athanasius
Or-
punched.
No. St. Nicholas punched Arius in the 3rd century. Yeah,
Santa?
yeah.
Santa Claus
Santa
punched.
punched. Yeah, they were having a big council.
Okay.
And he was removed as bishop of his town for a while.
So
yeah.
title for the podcast,
So
Santa
did-
Claus punches white supremacists.
Yeah. So
One way to
did
look at
Santa
it.
Claus punch Arius?
A lot of disinformation to come to that conclusion.
Oh
Tell
my
me
gosh!
tell
Look
me
at
there's
this!
a
Look at this
photo of
right
this.
here. There's there's photos of it. Look.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I will actually pull up an awesome generated AI image of Arius getting totally punched by Saint Nick. So look, there's Saint Nicholas.
That's how they do the punch.
The
a little
bishop Saint-
palm.
Okay,
They're having a
'cause
fight.
Here's what this story did. Okay, so here's the story. I'm actually going to read it for you guys.
Oh, my
At one
goodness.
point, Saint Nicholas got so angry at Arius's obstinacy that he socked him right in the face. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So what we know about St. Nicholas. So the Bishop Nicholas loses his cool because back then he was called Bishop Nicholas. So here at the stnicholascenter.org, there's an entire website dedicated to it.
This is amazing.
At the Council of Nicaea in AD 325, Emperor Constantine convened the Council of Nicaea. It was the first ecumenical council. More than 300 bishops showed up. And as Arius vigorously continued his argument about the nature of God, Nicholas became more and more agitated. Finally, he could no longer bear what he believed was essential being attacked. The outraged Nicholas got up, crossed the room, and slapped Arius across the face.
My gosh.
The bishops were shocked. It was unbelievable that a bishop would lose control and be so hot-headed in such a solemn assembly. They brought Nicholas to Constantine. Constantine said even though it was illegal for anyone to strike another in his presence, in this case, the bishops themselves must determine the punishment. So he was stripped of his bishop's garments, chained, and thrown into jail.
Wow.
Of course, he ended up having, I believe, an angel or like John the Baptist came and visited him or something. And, Jesus and Mary and his mother appeared asking, why are you in jail? And he says, because of my love for you. And
these are your creeds. These are your creeds, people.
Yeah.
This is your great, glorious...
Santa straight up slapped the guy that was making your creed because it was so offensive even back then.
These people, it was a knockdown, drag out. It was Game of Thrones with your precious doctrine.
And we were told the contention is of the devil.
Meanwhile,
this sounds like a bunch of old fuddy-duddies. And he slaps them and they're like, that's impropriety. You should, come on. Was it jail? It was probably like a tucked away house that he was exiled to. I think these are a bunch of old fuddy-duddies.
Okay, well, I think St. Nick was the best of all of them, baby.
Well, thank goodness we don't base our entire religion off of the voting patterns of these old fuddy-duddies, only two of which we even can name, and who are getting into slap fights.
Oh, no, I mean, look, say you wanted to be the church fathers, but there was some really cool stuff the church fathers had to say. Some of it was nonsense, but some of it was
presents
really
every
good.
year. He brings us presents every year.
Dude, St. Nicholas, I think he was the
chimney.
last guy to have the priesthood before it was completely taken from the earth.
Wow.
Yeah, St. Nicholas was the bomb.
See, but wait a minute. But how many of them are out there that we don't even know about? How many of them were in India or were in Parthia or were in Ethiopia?
Exactly.
That we don't even know about. We only know about these ones.
Yeah. So what are you saying? Kwaku, take us home, baby. Take us home.
Cardin.
What, Doug?
What is the priesthood?
Oh, boy.
Because if you know what the priesthood is, you know that the priesthood can't be taken from the earth. Only the declaration of creating new priesthoods can be taken away from the earth.
Only the declaration of creating new priesthoods can be taken away.
John the Revelator stayed. The three Nephites stayed. Priesthood power was on the earth. It was never gone. Joan of Arc even exercised it. Too many miracles happened for there not to be priesthood power. So what is priesthood? What is it? We don't ask that question in this church. We just ask who has authority. We care about keys, but not the door into the building that the keys may open.
So what are you getting at, Doc?
It's a different podcast.
Oh, okay, cool. I was about to say, by the way, the way you were angling your head, it was like getting some really dramatic mood lighting there. Yeah. That was very like that scary face that shows up in the original, not Poltergeist, but the original Exorcist. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's really creepy because my eyes are like just...
Yeah. No, it was good. And you got the skull, Guns N' Roses thing on your head going. That was dramatic, Doc. That was dramatic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
So anyway, yeah, I'm digging. So, okay, this is awesome. Can we go see them? Are any of them robust? Are they dwindling? Are the numbers growing? Yeah.
Oh, sure, you can go see them. They're not super pleasant, but they maintain a lot of things like
Wait,
the
why aren't they
sacraments.
super pleasant?
Well, the Russian Orthodox Church, this is my experience, like you can't sit down. You come in and you kind of stand. It's all stone. It's all dark. They're very, very dark. Like the whole religion is like suffering and like it's pretty.
Well,
drab.
it's Russia. If I had to eat like a raw iced fish every day for lunch, I'd probably be pretty.
You laugh, but I saw that all the time
No,
over there.
It's like a fish on ice and styrofoam.
No styrofoam, just bare hands. They just use their thumbs and they carve it with their bottom.
What a miserable place to live. I'm sorry. I like their architecture. You know,
the chicks are smoking hot.
Yeah, up until like they're 27.
It's called the Polish surprise. You go off on a 3-day weekend and you come back home and
all women are beautiful. All women are beautiful. Some just have a little more beauty to give than the others.
Yeah.
But the Ethiopian church, fantastic. Their architecture is amazing. and they maintain their Christianity, and they don't need anybody else to give them permission to.
So last question before we go. Do you think the Ethiopian church has the Ark of the Covenant?
Absolutely. There's in the Discord. I could even point out where it is. I know where it is.
Shut up, really? Because
right there in the Discord.
That's what Graham Hancock thinks, dude. So you're right down there with Graham Hancock thinking that the Ark of the Covenant is straight up there? Okay. Well, is this the picture you're talking about right here?
Boom.
Okay.
That's where the Ark of the Covenant is. It's called the Eighth Wonder of the World. This is the Church of St. George, carved into the bedrock in Ethiopia. Why would you go to that trouble? Why would you do that? Carve down into the ground. The whole thing is carved from the bedrock. That's crazy. Look at that thing. It's because you're housing the Ark of the Covenant. There you go. You heard it right here. Word Radio.
Wow. So this might be the resting place of the Ark of the Covenant.
Let's go.
In Ethiopia.
Field trip.
Let's go. That's right. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Is any of this ringing true? Have any of you had experiences with some of these other sects of Christianity that claim their provenance all the way back to the original apostles? Is Jonah Barnes full of crap and misinterpreting all of these Gnostic texts? Or is Kwaku?
I got one last question.
Yes, what?
Let's say some of these churches have had priesthood authority passed down. Whose priesthood is stronger? Ours or theirs?
Oh, is this like a Moses with his rod? And
no, seriously, it's like we have the priesthood from the Restoration, but if they got the priesthood from the original gang, they might beat us a little bit. They might be able to levitate like the box a little bit higher or something. You know what I'm saying? They might have a little more at.
We're going to have the priesthood Olympics. All right, everybody gather around. All right, okay. I don't want to see anybody cheating here.
We're Matilda, but like they're Jedi. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like it's
so
like
in the Western corner, we got the Ethiopian Orthodox people. Okay, then we got 2 feet. Oh, we got 3 feet. Oh, we got 4 feet on the box in the corner. Okay, that's what the Mormons are doing.
You know how they settle this? You throw down your sticks, they turn into snakes, and whichever snake eats the other snake. That's how they settle it.
Oh, we've got an 8-inch python coming out of the Mormons. Oh. Now in the right corner, we've got, the Armenian Catholics. They've got a straight up ball python. You know,
he's going for the throat.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be hilarious. So, okay, cool. Awesome. Hey, well, let us know how it's going. If any of you guys have had any experiences or experience it with these people, let us know if you, think anything he said was crazy or totally off base. And for this and more, obviously check us out on wordradio.com.
I ain't trying to bring you down, but for real, you might as well give up now. Think you got a chance, but I don't see how. Got a real tight grip when I hold that crown. My life been good and bad and all around. The more things I lost, the more I found. One thing I taught myself to do, no matter the problem, refuse to lose.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Before you go, please make sure that you like the video, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please let this be the video in which we earn your subscription, and that you press the alert button so you're alerted to all of our fun live streams and standalone videos and community posts. Also, if you'd like to help us out, please consider joining the channel. Members get all kinds of cool perks and benefits. They get early access to a lot of our videos and special emoticons and emojis during our live streams and preferential treatment there. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of a lot of fun, we have a super cool Discord. If you'd like to join our Discord, check us out on wordradio.com. There's a link to the Discord there. Also, you can sign up there for our newsletter. Our newsletter is a lot of fun, and you can put your email address in there. And if you'd like to contribute to the program, please consider looking us up on Venmo or on the Cash App. We're on both of those platforms. Also, if you just want to keep watching more content, right about here and probably right about here are going to be some more videos. Please check those out. And as always, for this and more, please make sure that you look us up and check us out at wordradio.com.